exposures, and they're more weakened and compromised than older adults. It's the cumulative effect. In the illnesses caused in our soldiers and veterans from exposure to depleted uranium and fission products in Iraq and Afghanistan, similar symptoms and illnesses have been reported, and the number one disease, the number one complaint diagnosed by the Veterans Administration in our soldiers and veterans from these radioactive wars is neuromuscular damage. And polio was invented as a cover-up for the neuromuscular damage caused worldwide by nuclear bomb tests. A medical doctor in Canada, Dr. Levan, was studying the damage to the Canadian population from the huge nuclear bomb tests that the Soviets did in the Arctic. And one of them was such a huge release of radiation that it exposed every person in the Northern Hemisphere to the equivalent of a chest x-ray. And Dr. Levan was looking at illnesses and infant mortality, things like that, where the big clouds of radiation came down through central Canada, through Alberta. And if you read that paper, you realize that polio is the cover story. It's an invented disease to cover up and hide the neuromuscular damage that was caused globally by the nuclear bomb tests. So I'm not surprised these are happening. It sounds like they may have mitochondrial damage as well. Mitochondria are little things in the cell that produce all the energy for the body. And I've seen Iraqi soldiers on panels at conferences that I've been at where they would start talking. They were all very, very, very sick. It was so sad. It was just almost unbearable to see these young lives that were already finished. And I remember one young woman who'd been in Iraq as a soldier, and she in the middle of her talk, she would talk for maybe 5 minutes, and then she would just sit there because the mitochondria were not working properly in her brain, releasing energy to propel the signals that go down the nerves, and they have to stop at these gas stations. They're called the syntaxes. And it's where that smoke signal made out of calcium goes down the nerve, and it stops at the syntax and picks up energy.